Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. In this video I will make two predictions and ask a few questions. The first prediction is Jared Kushner possibly will be a US president in the near future. Jared Kushner being Donald Trump's son-in-law, because of meritocracy working in the United States of America. The second prediction, I predict that the peace process in Ukraine will be successful because Jared Kushner, it's all about him, and Donald Trump's family, all this, at this point, will succeed. He has to succeed. He has to be hailed as maybe a Nobel Peace Prize. He has to gain credentials for future debate. I think not Vitkoff, Kushner. So these are my two predictions. So one, he's going to be the US president, or he's going to be the overseer, the paver, is how you pave the way of Barron Trump's future presidency. Not Jared Kushner, because if we talk about Jared Kushner, he doesn't know anything about geopolitics. I think all he knows is his little thing over there. But nevertheless, I will show you a few articles here that will make my point, I think. And it's just a prediction. Two predictions. The war in Ukraine will be settled by Kushner and Vitkoff, two Jews representing America, and Zelenskyy, another Jew representing Ukraine. Just a coincidence. Prediction. Why? They have to show the whole world that if you have them, you will win. Peace will win. They're men of peace. Okay. Before I, there's a problem though. It's a problem for them. I will explain. But before I go over there, I would like to ask you this question. If, let's say you have a neo-Nazi neighbor that you don't like at all, they don't like him at all, but he comes up with a cure for cancer. And let's say maybe one of the loved ones, or not even, he can save humanity. Would you not get the cure for cancer from that person because he's a neo-Nazi? Well, let's say Hitler has the cure for cancer. Will you not use it because, let's say he's the only one who has it, who is able to give it to everyone. You would not use it because Hitler made it? Would you not? Well, if you wouldn't, I would. I had a little phone interview yesterday with a newspaper, and I told the person who I was speaking with that I would like to know. I would like to know. I don't care from where. I would like to interview Satan. I would like to interview the genocidal Moses. I would like to interview the war criminal Harry Truman, who dropped 2 atomic bombs on 2 civilian cities. I would like to speak with Stalin. I would like to speak with Putin. I would like to speak to Adolf. I would like to speak with Bibi Netanyahu. I would like to speak with anyone. I want to learn. I want to know in order to dispense justice later. But I don't want people who, they are the Nazis, preventing me from speaking with people because they're bad. I want to know what they say. I want to hear their story, their side of the story. Those are the bad guys who don't allow me to do that. And why did I say that in the beginning with the cancer and Hitler or whomever? Because I will use this guy. This guy's in one of his speeches, and I'm going to use a name here. And send your kids away from your room, or people who are very sensitive to that stuff. I'm not going to use foul language here, but I'm going to tell you. This person, his name is Dr. William Pierce. Everybody, okay, he's a bad guy, very bad, very, very, very bad guy, almost as close as Adolf. He didn't commit any crimes though, but hey, he has a certain ideology, and therefore he was labeled in a way, so he's a bad guy, okay? He's a papa. So YouTube, he's a bad guy. Nevertheless, but he said this. He said, and not necessarily that's true. I want you to pay attention to this. Why? Because that is connected with the subject of this video and the articles I'm going to present to you. He said, one problem of the Jews has always been that when, it's not true, he said that, when they control from the shadows and from behind the curtains the affairs of states, of kings, of nations, and so on, at one point they can't help it. And this is their downfall, the chutzpah. They can't help it, and they show up, and they show their face. And you see one, you don't forget it. So they show up, and everybody sees them who actually is in control. And even the feeble-minded of the society realize, maybe a little bit of tweak or pointing out, that that guy and that guy and that guy all together are in charge of you, of your family. And then is when usually nations, according to this evil guy, Dr. William, they pick up their pitchforks and the torches, and they go and commit bad stuff against these people. All right, that's what he said. Is it true? Is it true? Well, let me show you some articles here. Everything I say, I back with facts, or you can verify it. I don't have to lie, because the truth is on my side. Why? It's over there, my friends. You can verify it. Let's start with the first article. Kremlin expects Trump's son-in-law to play a leading role in drafting peace plan. Question. Answer. Why, since when, what the hell happened that Kushner, Donald Trump's son-in-law, showed up in the negotiating process of the peace between Ukraine and Russia? First, what are his credentials? I'm talking about real credentials. We were taught that meritocracy is in the West, those liars. And I'm very angry about that, because I've been lied consistently about that. Democracy in the West, freedom and capitalism, meritocracy. All right. Jared Kushner was appointed willy-nilly, boom, senior advisor for Middle East in Trump's first administration. Who's this guy Kushner, man? What does he know? Oh, he's a good negotiator? Now, let me tell you, if let's say I'm a good negotiator in building businesses, and all of a sudden someone gets me and drops me in negotiating, pharmaceuticals. I don't know anything about pharmaceuticals. I'm not an expert, so I don't know the in and outs of these things. That means I can use my 3 tricks of negotiations, okay? That's all I can use. But if I don't know the subject, I cannot fool things. I cannot twist things with all my flair. That's why Vitkoff, just a Jewish millionaire. What experience he has again? With negotiations, probably, but with geopolitics. All right. Kushner, what's his experience? He's a Jewish millionaire. What's his experience with Ukraine and Russia as a negotiator? He might be a good negotiator building buildings, or getting a loan, or fooling banks, or who knows, something like that. But you deal with history. When they're going to ask you about some historical things, how about Donbass? What do you think? Why should you think Donbass should be Russian? What do you think this guy will say? Yan is nai. I don't know. Why? He doesn't know. How do I know he doesn't know? If he knows, well, let me know how he knows that. Did he read? Do you think he has time to read? The only credentials these guys have are millionaires, they know Trump, and they're Jewish. That's all. I said it. And I will show you why. Okay, let's move on. Again, why Kremlin expects Trump's son-in-law to play leading role in drafting? Remember, Jared Kushner was lost. We didn't hear about him after the administration was gone with Donald Trump in 2020, 2021, remember? And he showed up about a week ago when Vitkoff took Kushner and they supposedly put together a 29-point peace plan. Trump's. But it was Kushner. He was brought in the room to put the peace plan together with Vitkoff of Russia and Ukraine. What? And then Vitkoff, flew with his master that's going to introduce Jared to all these great, fantastic people. And that's why he flew in Moscow together. 2 Jews representing Romania, representing the United States of America. Not 2 Romanians, no. 2 Jews. Not 2 Iranians, no. Because why? I will show you in a minute. And that's why I suspect there will be peace in the valley for me, okay? There will be peace. Why? Because Kushner must win a peace prize, Nobel Peace Prize, put these credentials under his belt in the debates in the future when he's going to be a candidate. He's going to say, I am a man of peace. I brought the peace. Not Vitkoff. Vitkoff is too old. And it doesn't, I don't think he wants anything to the presidency. I think they want their boy over there. You know why? Not because they don't maneuver things. They don't control it. What they tell you with showing up. And I'm going to show you the next one. The next one comes from the Ukrainians. Zelenskyy holds call with Kushner and Vitkoff. Top Ukrainian negotiators amid Trump's peace plan push. So this Zelenskyy is the president of Ukraine. He's Jewish. And these two guys represent the United States of America in the negotiating process of the peace between Ukraine and Russia. And they're also Jews. So 3 Jews right there. Pop, pop, pop. You don't hear anything here. And this Trump's peace plan, but we know that he's vaguely aware of what's going on over there because he helped put together the plan. All right. And again, Putin aide comments on Kushner's role in Ukraine's. Why would Donald Trump's son could play a key role in drafting a peace deal? Why? Who's this guy? I never heard of him. Who's this guy in that context? And Zelenskyy speaks with U.S. negotiators Witkoff and Kushner. So this guy represents Ukraine and this represents United States of America about how to prevent third Russian invasion. Now, I'm not asking you to connect any dots because they will reveal themselves as the evil guy Dr. William Pierce said. They will reveal it. And smart people who like the truth will make sure that they point out. They don't ask these guys to connect the dots. They just say, Zelenskyy is Jewish, is a Jew, and he represents the Ukrainian nations. Remember, the Shmihal, the former foreign prime minister of the Ukrainians, was also Jewish. Remember, the defense minister, Mr. Reznikov, was also Jewish. He was the defense minister of these guys, the Ukrainians. And then you had Yermak, chief of staff, was also Jewish, in charge of these guys, representing. Why? Well, I'm not going to ask you. You connect the dots. I'm just giving you this. Everything I said is true. Nothing is a lie. And I'm not saying it's just a coincidence. They're a little bit better than everybody else. Hollywood tells us, and the university professors and the media. Right? And then you move to the United States of America. In the United States of America, you have Vitkoff and you have the other guy, Kushner. You don't hear about Mr. Rubio at all because Rubio is not the acting Secretary of State. Vitkoff is. And they tell us about meritocracy. Now, let me tell you about this, why I'm so irritated, but that's an understatement. It's because when I lived in Romania as a child, teenager, young adult, we've been told by the Americans, by the people coming from the West, coming into Romania, like we were some peasants, some baboons over there, uneducated, not even know how to, pick a phone, read a letter or something like this, or a number. We were like that. That's how they treated us. Very, very, very in a demeaning way. And I always hated Romanians who were all, yes. We knew more than those guys. I know more than those guys. Only from what I got from the communists. But hey, because, they're the capitalists. They are the free world. They are the Democrats. That's how we're told. Meritocracy. We were fed all kind of lies. And the one lie that stuck into my head was this. Why lie? Because I realized it's a lie. Trump appoints his son-in-law. And Vitkoff, all his millionaires, buddies, whatever they are. It was this. Man, these guys were coming from the West. Even Romanians who were living in the West were coming to Romania and tell us, the baboons, man, America or in Western Germany or in the Western democracy, man, and capitalism, you don't appoint your son, man, if you have a big corporation. You don't appoint your son as the leader of the corporation just like this because he's your son. No, man, no. You get your son and make him work as a janitor first. And then from the janitor, you make him work as the assembly line guy. And then from there, maybe, only if he deserves, if he doesn't do a good job, he's going to stay there, man, if it's your son. It's meritocracy, man. It's your money over there. After all, you fight for its capital, profits you can afford. That's what's a lie. Look at Trump. Now, Trump is at the top. Is at the top of the American system. Not in a business. In a democratic way. He was elected. And he appoints these guys in positions of power and control. What about the guy who's... I know guys in charge of companies who don't start with the kids in the janitorial assembly line and courier and whatever they are, receiving, shipping, receiving, and maybe then a little manager somewhere, and then if they do, no, they're taken, put right there, they send them to college, and they come educated, and they're going to go straight there as a big advisor, as Mr. Kushner. He was a senior advisor appointed first time by Trump in 2016 or something. What credentials he had? You tell me. With the Middle East. Vitkoff was appointed the American envoy to the Middle East. Why? What does he know? He made money. He was a negotiator and he's making money. Right? That's the first one. And then now he's the negotiator for Ukraine and Russia? What are his credentials? I thought that he is the envoy for the Middle East. Neither Russia nor Ukraine are in the Middle East. Meritocracy, my ass. We've been lied, and I hate that many, many times. I mean, I'm okay sometimes to be lied, you know what I mean? I mean, not okay, but you can forgive and forget. But when it's consistent and the lie gets bigger and bigger and bigger, what can you tell your children? Don't lie? They don't lie. You're not going to tell your child stay in line and follow orders and follow the law? Look at these guys. Jared Kushner was appointed in charge of the American foreign policy. Picked and dropped. And I should tell my child to do what exactly? To pay his taxes, to be fair, not to cut the line, cut the corner. Is that how I'm supposed to tell my child? They will see this too. They will go and take a piece on my grave if I have one. And say, is this how you prepared me for life? I, as a parent, as I told an imbecile psychologist, I, as a parent, is my duty to provide my children with the best weapons possible to succeed in life. And in life, I learn. And I don't think it's right, my kids, to tell all the time the truth. I don't think you should do that. You can lie if you're sure you will never get caught. Oh my God, that's horrible. Do I want my kids to be the losers of Kushner? Or do I want my kids to smack Kushner in the balls? They're gonna meet a lot of Kushners and other Trumps in their lives. I want my kids to be abused by those guys, or I want my kids to abuse them. There's no way like nobody's gonna abuse. The third option doesn't exist. Like nobody's gonna abuse anybody. We're gonna live in a kumbaya communist jerk-off. That's a utopic imbecility. It's gonna be them or us, or me or you. That's the real world. Okay? So I teach my kids, I give them the weapons, or anybody has the weapons to succeed in the society we have. You don't show up at a gunfight with a knife. That's what they gave us. And they gave you, I guarantee you, in school. Stay in line, follow orders, don't speak without being asked, raise your hand, discipline and order. For Kushner to just cut the line, dropped over there. Kushner will get the Nobel Peace Prize. It might be the US president, will get Barron Trump in the White House in about more than 15 years because he has to be 34 years old to be the president. Maybe they change the constitution by them. Maybe they make it preferential with certain kind of people together. That's what Kushner is going to happen. Kushner and then Barron Trump will become the US president if they allow him to. If they, not us. The same as Trump. Trump was allowed to be the US president, not he was elected and all that. Yeah, we elected him. Yeah, we voted, but who counted the vote? Stalin? Anyway, here it is. So remember, this peace process will be successful because they want to show us that all these three guys were so good, including Trump. Trump plays the role of a god, and they let him because he's a tool. That's all it is. Trump could be removed by the guys he thinks he's in charge of. All right. So they will portray Zelenskyy. I'm foreseeing, I know, Zelenskyy and possibly Kushner getting Nobel Peace Prizes. And Vitkoff too. And then the Hollywood would start its machine again every other month, a Second World War movie. They keep it alive since 1945. They still keep it alive. We like it happened yesterday. With all you owe me, give me money, all these things. They were now going to tell us how fantastic these guys. It was all manufactured by them with our tools. Tools being the traitors within our group. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Gonna be peace, Nobel Peace Prize, and presidency. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.